Mayor, we're live.
All right. Welcome to the regular meeting of Helotes City Council. It's June 26, 2025. The time is 7 p.m. At this time, we're going to have the invocation and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you don't mind, please stand, remove your hats, and our invocation will come up.
Everybody, please pray with me. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for having us born into the great state of Texas, the great country of the United States. Please keep a watch over our service members, that they're not in harm's way. Keep a watch over our first responders as they are fighting battles within our country. And keep a watch over us, that we show the people that live with us that we are concerned about their health and their safety. And we are very watching what's going on and being observant and reporting anything that you see that could be a problem within the Helotes and a bad mark in Helotes' name. So therefore, God, we hope and pray that you will keep us in safeness, and hope and pray that through this next year, our city council members will come up with plans to make us better than we are right now. And Lord, we just hope that as time goes on, we create a better United States. Thank you. Amen.
Follow me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you once again. For those that aren't aware, we have a wonderful organization, Say So, of athletes here, learning a little bit. Athletes that get involved with public works and community service, and today they came to learn a little bit about local government. So we welcome them and thank them for being here. At this time, we'll move to citizens be heard. When your name is called, please come up, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to share anything that's on your mind. First up, we have Brian Opplinger. Thanks, Brian.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me, Brian Opplinger. Address, I live in Cedar Springs, 12450 Cedar Trail. It's about the 6th house on the right when you come into Cedar Springs. It's also why I'm here. That, along with 18 other homes, are on a ditch that we've been having problems with. I'm not a Helotes originally, but I got here as fast as I could. 21-year Air Force retired, and I've been here now for about 23. So since I've lived on that ditch, I've many times taken it upon myself and other neighbors, collected money, try to clear the ditch out. This last rainfall that we had, somewhat close to 9 inches in the 24-hour period, it really did a number on the ditch. One of the concerns that I have, and I talked to the mayor about it, and I actually met Jen in front of my house also a few months back. Basically, there's a few things that I think the city might have onus on, and I want to at least present them to you and hopefully share my thoughts with you and see what that, how far this goes. One, I believe that the city has collected over many years now a fee in lieu of drainage for businesses that come into Helotes. And so what happens, they have to build a pond to get the runoff of all the water that would have been just natural land. It soaks up a lot faster than pavement. And so essentially they pay a fee in lieu of, and that fee goes into the coffers of Helotes somewhere. Don't know where that's being used, if it's been used or not, but this might be an avenue that we may need to try to look at using it. The second thing, there's no abatement to the drainage. And so Lee Bowers, which is the owner of Hill Country Village 2, that's the first business on the right side as you pull into Cedar Trail. When he originally bought that, Lee was told that he had to put a bridge across that little creek area there. So he did so at a cost of somewhere around $60,000 to $80,000. Later on, TxDOT decided that they wanted to do a project. Helotes welcomed TxDOT in because we had some major drainage issues. TxDOT evaluated everything and said, look, Lee, we're not going to do that. We can't do that until this business takes that bridge out, and they put in this little ramp that you see there now. It basically goes down into a ditch and back up the other side, and it holds water, and you guys can see that when you drive through that. And so since that's happened, the city actually took that project on, so TxDOT would actually continue their project. And so since that's happened, nothing else has been done over there at Lee's property. And so what happens, because there's no abatement to this drainage, everything that happens all the way upstream floods down, and with major rainstorms like we just had, we end up with massive debris. And so when TxDOT did their project, they put those nice wire things with all the rocks in them, and it catches all the debris, slows down what's coming, and then they just go back and they clean out what's in front of those after the storm's over. That's gone now. It's not there. It's not been there in 20-some years. Lee's property shows that. That's why there's a puddle there all the time. And my property shows that, because beyond my property, which is downstream, is actually now uphill because of all the debris that washes down there. And so those are the concerns I bring. I just want to let you guys know that it is a big concern. I am working with the HOA, Cedar Springs. I was the president of the HOA at one time, so I've been involved with this for many years now. And so I am working with the HOA. The HOA looks like they're going to be doing some stuff to help out. And I just want to present it to the city, and hopefully we can get some help across the board with this.
Thank you, Brian, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing me.
We have anybody online sign up? Okay. That closes our citizens to be heard. Thank you once again, Brian, for coming to speak. This time, we're looking for a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items number 3 through 5 as written.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Sanders, second by Sones, with no discussion needed unless somebody wanted to pull an item. All in favor of approving consent agenda items number 3 through 5 as written, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This time, we are looking for a motion and a second to discuss and take action on item number 6 as written.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make first motion.
Motion by Sanders, second by,
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
okay, second by Buck. Russell, okay. One note, your printed copies actually don't reflect what was actually posted, in that there was a typo on your print. It is 8 electric vehicle parking designations. Okay, so that's a typo on your printed, but was actually posted correctly.
So the number is 8.
Right.
I was going to ask that question, so thank you.
So Walmart is wanting to put in some 8 charging stations for vehicle charging stations, and that's basically the gist of it. They're having plans that are submitted. Councilman Sanders.
So for you guys out here, so the Planning and Zoning Commission for Helotes has already reviewed this before this issue coming to council. They unanimously approved this project. So this will be our first EV chargers that the city of Helotes that I'm aware of that will actually have installed. I don't have any real comments. In typical Walmart fashion, they're doing it in a very professional way, and so I have no issues or any specific topics that I want to drill down into.
Okay. Councilman Russell.
No, it's nice that folks have an opportunity to charge their vehicles while they're inside the store, doing some business.
It's a great addition to Helotes.
John? Okay, with no further discussion, all in favor of approving item number 6 as written, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Not that difficult, huh? Yet. This time, we're looking for a motion and a second to discuss and take action on item number 7 as written.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Craig. Motion by Sanders, second by
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
Russell. All right, so we have a plan, and really basically a conceptual design plan. Councilmember, any thoughts or concerns?
No, again, P and Z unanimously supported this. No variances were being requested that I'm aware of. And they did talk about it, and I know it's not part of the site plan and all that, but they did bring up about parking, and there will be plenty of parking up there. So the overall concept looks fine with P and Z's unanimous approval as well. I don't see any problems. I know personally, I didn't realize there was that much space up there on top of that little hill there, near Mary's Taco, so so that was interesting, but no, I don't have anything, no concerns.
Okay.
No, and it looked like, from the P and Z meeting, they were going to do some enhancements to the accessibility, the ADA and stuff, so I think it's going to be a nice enhancement to their building.
No concerns?
Okay. You guys are making it easy today. All in favor of approving item number 7 as written, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, looking for motion and a second to discuss and take action on item number 8 as written, also a conceptual design.
You're off the roll, Councilmember Sanders.
Can we address this differently, Mayor? Can we just make a motion to discuss first and then take action? I really don't want to amend my motion like we normally do.
We can open for discussion and then entertain a motion after discussion. So at this point, we're going to open discussion on item number 8, and we will delay taking a motion until after discussion. Would you like to start discussion?
Okay, so this is for the take,
Councilmember Sanders and Mayor, just real quick, we do have representatives for this item joining us via
Okay.
Zoom in case there are any questions
By Zoom.
by Zoom.
Okay, okay.
they're on Zoom, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So for the audience, this is a Take 5 oil change facility that's part of the development down there by Shanefield, the intersection of Shanefield and 1560. That area has been annexed by the city of Helotes. So P&Z reviewed this earlier in the month. And so I guess my only question was, and this is for the representative that's on Zoom. So the exit sign, that was an issue that P&Z had. I think overall the signage and everything that you're doing and the color scheme is fine. My question, and I didn't get a chance to go to the other Take 5 that we have here in Helotes here right off of Bandera or any other stores. Is that a standard thing to have that honk and thank you sign, I think is what it says? Yeah, as you actually leave the actual oil change bay?
Okay, our representative on Zoom, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
So, no worries. So our question is, on the signage, at the exit sign, as part of that signage, is the honk for good service type of addition to the exit sign and I believe you guys have presented it as part of your traffic control, and that might be the debate. Is it really traffic control? Is that standard in all of your locations?
It's a prototypical thing, but there are plenty of locations that have omitted it for different noise requirements. So if it's something that is like not required for any kind of sound requirements, that's something that can be removed.
Right.
Okay, so it's not really high priority, mission critical for you all?
Right, exactly.
Okay, okay.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor, and so I think that's my only issue. The way the site is laid out, I think is fine. And the direction signs look fine. It's just that one particular sign. And I know our P&Z folks were concerned about that particular sign, but everything else looked good. And so that's why I wanted to discuss it first, because I am not in favor of, and I think you guys refer to it as sign G. And so I would be in favor of seeing it as exit only on both sides, or nothing on the inside, but it's not a direction sign the way I interpret it.
Okay, Jen?
I appreciate P&Z's work, and I see their point that it's, not a traffic control sign, so I could support the commission's decision, or recommendation, rather.
Okay, Sabrina?
I totally agree with Councilmember Sines as well.
I agree with Councilmember Sons.
Okay. So, And I'm sorry, what is your name, the representative?
My name is Jackie St. Just.
Jackie. Okay, Jackie. So if everything gets approved with the exception of that, does that cause any issues with your plans, production, or development?
No, we have several sites that that has been a concern of P&Z before, so there are versions that we remove that sign, so it doesn't really hurt us too much.
Okay, okay, I certainly appreciate that. Uh, Councilmember, you want to fashion a motion?
Yeah, so I make a motion to take action on agenda number 8 to approve all items, the site plan, building concept, lighting, and all signage with the exception of sign G. With sign G being made to be a directional sign.
So exit only?
Yeah, exit only.
So if I may restate, you're looking to approve, you're making a motion to approve item number 8 as written with the exception of sign G.
Correct.
Okay, do we have a second for that motion?
If I may, do I understand you saying sign G to read exit only
Yes.
for clarity
Claire?
on both sides?
On both sides.
Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other further discussion? Okay. With no further discussion, all in favor of approving the motion as stated for item number 8, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jackie, appreciate it, and congratulations, it has been approved.
Thank you.
There she is, okay. Do we have a representative for number 9?
We do not.
McDonald's? Yep.
Yes, we do.
There you go, okay.
There, okay, oh, there you go. Hey, I'm good. Looking for motion and a second to discuss and take action on item number 9 as written, unless we want to open for discussion first.
I think we might want to
Okay.
discuss it.
Let's open this for discussion. We'll start with this, on a similar property at the corner of Shanefield and 1560, in the same property of item number 8, or master property, item number 8, is a lot of where McDonald's is looking to build and develop. My understanding is that as it went, really the only issue, unless somebody wants to identify an additional issue, was a small M sign on the back. Outside of that, and to that, part of the discussion was, well, that's the backside of the building, nobody's coming from that direction. Something I would like to point out, if you want to scroll to the, up a little bit there, Selena, to the colored drawings. Further up to the top, you're going down.
No, it's
Oh.
down.
Okay. So that's the front of the building. You got an M and McDonald's. There's the back. So the contention from P&Z is that that small yellow M for McDonald's on the backside of the building, because it's not pointing anywhere. What I don't know is if they recognized or not is that the way that property is going to be divided, there's actually going to be fairly significant traffic pathway coming from 1560 up towards where the storage will be, and then a right turn headed down in between the Take 5 and the McDonald's. So there will be a significant amount of traffic could be coming in from that side, so it will be viewable. And also it is a relatively small, just a moniker. It does cross the number of signs, so it really is, falls under variance request. I would like to bring you up if you want to come up to the dais as a representative, in case we have some questions.
Hi, Becky Carroll with Pape Dawson Engineers. We're the civil engineer for McDonald's.
Thank you. You have questions?
So, no, you're familiar, you're just focused on the McDonald's, so you're not familiar with the how the entire area is going to be developed. So it's really not a question to you, it's really a question to staff and to you, Mayor. It was my understanding that there will be a access from Shanefield that will have the Take 5 oil change business on the right side, and then there'll be McDonald's on the left side, and then CVS will be over here. This road does not access the back area, that it will actually be blocked off, so there will be no traffic able to come from the back area. That will be accessed from 1560.
No, there
That was,
actually
that
will
was
be.
what was discussed at PNC, so I throw that back. I just need to know if traffic is flowing from that back storage area and can access via the road directly to McDonald's, then I personally will have no issue, and I would approve all variances.
So there's a common, correct me if I'm wrong, we have a common driveway that comes in off of Shanefield Road and then splits off to both the Take 5 as well as to the McDonald's. And that will go actually back to where the storage will be.
So that will be accessing the back?
That will be able to access, and then they will be able to turn around and actually drive right behind the McDonald's property and the CVS between there and the proposed other building that will face 1560. So there will be traffic flow that goes in there and
I think that's why P and Z said what they said. They didn't realize that there would be traffic flowing through there, that it would actually be blocked off.
yeah.
If I remember correct, in the meeting, they said something about potentially some type of shopping center behind
Yeah.
there also.
Okay, but I thought I heard, my hearing's bad nowadays, as I age. I thought I heard him say that there would be no access to the back area, that only access to that back area would be off 1560.
If you see right there on that picture right there, that is the access. So you see the McDonald's there on one side, you got the Take
Sure.
5 on the other, and that column in the middle is actually the access from Shanefield. Right there's the Shanefield. Cuts through, and then as you scroll up, goes out into what, the top of that page, what would be next would be the storage on one side and the potential strip center on the left side. So there is cut through and accessibility.
Well, then, that's good information. I misunderstood based on what I thought I heard earlier from the P and Z meeting. So that's good. That's good clarification. Thank you. I mean, that changes my perspective, even if it's just the one little moniker. We're being asked to approve several different variances because we're asking for basically signage on 4 sides, and generally we don't, that's not a big thing that we like to support, Lotus, so.
We have a little bit of history of saying no to businesses when there wasn't traffic behind, if I'm thinking HTO, right? But we also have, or for example, like the storage, there is an access, but it's really emergency access behind the building, so signage on the back of that would not be the same situation as this. And we do have a history that if it is more than ancillary traffic or emergency traffic, that moniker would be reasonable ask and not the same as a full-size truck.
I don't disagree, Mayor. So that was my only question. So now that that's clarified, I'm good.
Jen?
Well, I just want to thank Buck Russell, our newest member of the council, because he's the P and Z liaison. So thank you for being available this week to answer questions. And so I yield to you because you have more insight on sign B.
And it's a relatively small sign, basically 4 foot by 4 foot. And if there is that development behind, it does, oh, there's McDonald's, let's stop by. I don't have an issue with it whatsoever. Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm fine with sign B as well.
Okay. And that being the case, unless you had anything else?
I do have one thing, if you don't
Sure.
mind, that was brought up at P and Z. I'd like to clarify. There's a question about addressing because the Take 5 and the McDonald's both had the same address. And I believe it was probably assigned that way early on. We did reach out to CPS Energy a couple of months ago and request a separate address for McDonald's. And they did provide us a separate address that was included on the application. So the correct address is 11443. And I have a copy of our application that shows that, so I'd just like to clarify that.
Michael, that's something we can adjust on the,
So we go to the slide with the monument sign, they've already included that in there.
okay?
Yep, it's been updated.
And then
Okay.
we also have on our website the specific use permit public hearing for the drive-through, and we are using the correct address.
Great.
And a copy of that CPS address verification letter is within the packet on our
Great,
website.
thank you.
It's on the agenda.
All right.
So
So at that point, we will entertain a motion to approve item number 9 as written with all associated variances.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Okay?
Second.
Second. Okay, with no further discussion, all in favor of approving item number 9 to specifically approve as written, including all associated variances as listed in item number 9, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council, I appreciate it.
You bet, thank you. Okay, and this time, we are going to open for discussion and direction. The City of Helotes Economic Development Corporation's, how do we want to call this report? It's not the final report, it's their preliminary report for the Helotes Fitness Park and Disc Golf Course development. As there's really no action for this other than to give direction back to the EDC. The general thought here is, as we know, there was a consulting project that was done concerning what type of developments we could have at the park, and they gave recommendations. This was a several-month process. The status of the project at this point is it's a preliminary where they've got their findings. They're just kind of verifying some data. I think the final report is going to have, actually, if my understanding, is going to be some markings for saws and electrical lines and whatnot that's going to be put on the maps. But what they have is a list of suggested items and a prioritization. And EDC at their last meeting wanted to get basically some feedback and direction before they go ahead out and get finalize this report and get bids on various components of the project. You have a list there, I apologize there. Okay, so thank you very much. If you look, what page is that on? Page 9. So that's file 9, page 14, right?
Oh, yeah, 14.
On page 14 of 20, you really have their 5 suggestions. The first one is parking. The second recommendation is some trails, which is really further development of the trails that are in there and some materials put on there to substantiate them. Third item is a playground for 2 to 5-year-olds. Fourth is some shade, as identified on the map, and the fifth is a multi-use pavilion. As this is a discussion, I'm going to go ahead and share my thoughts on this, as I've been involved with and where I develop my perspective. My perspective comes from having gone door to door, 3,000 homes, 3 times over the course of the last 4 years, and that being a part of the conversations I had with people, as well as spending a fair amount of time at the park talking with parents there, as well as parents and families that come out to our small park here for small children. Overwhelmingly, parking is absolutely needed. That's been identified by unanimously across all boards, or all people. Trails is certainly something reasonable. The shade in the multi-use pavilion, possibly doing half-court basketball and pickleball, those seem to be all in line with what people were looking for. But almost unanimously, and this comes from discussions with council as well as people that we have talked with, do not want a playground for our young children because they don't want their 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds in close proximity to the 8, 10, 12, 13-year-olds, a little bit for safety. They do very much enjoy having this park that's dedicated really to small children, infants, just for that separation. There are a few families that do have children in both age categories, and so it's, no solution is a complete solution for everybody. But when we start taking a look at what's the best use, it would be my recommendation that we give direction to proceed, because let me take a step back. The process, even though EDC is looking to fund these It is still the city's property, so it is our decision on what we allow built, even if somebody else is paying for it. So we ultimately have ultimate decision on what we allow being built on there. My recommendation is that we give direction to proceed with parking, trails, the shade, and the multi-use pavilion in those order of priority. It's going to be dependent upon EDC's budgeting and how much they tick off, but at least they have a list of things to be able to address in their community development portion of their budget. But that would be my recommendation. Open it up for a conversation. We'll start over at this end.
At the EDC meeting, I know it was mentioned that doesn't appear to be a master plan. What do we want to see? What does the community want to see? What was the community feedback? What did they tell us? You know, your statement actually is one of the first times I've heard this is what the public wants. I know I was part of the interviews as a member of the community, what I would like to have seen. But I'm kind of curious what the other data and other folks said. Are we in line with what the community wants? Since we're spending the taxpayers' money, we kind of need to listen and follow their desires. Also, I'm kind of curious, the folks who are going to maintain it, Public Works, you know, are we going to be able to maintain it? The police department, have we heard from them on safety? Is it safe enough for the community? And then, of course, you know, life safety with the fire department. If somebody gets hurt, can an ambulance get there? You know, if somebody's barbecue pit gets out of control, can we get a fire truck there? I'm curious to see that in some type of master plan. Yeah, it's what, 2024 numbers, about a year ago numbers, so almost 1.2 million. Are there sponsorship opportunities? The Shots Meat Market, you know, Child's Playground or something along that line? Are we looking into the community to have ownership in it also with our businesses, to have a say in it and participate in the financing of it?
So let me address those questions. We can certainly open up the conversation, but based upon previous council conversations and other thought process, this is a city park. We've had conversations before about sponsored park benches and whatnot. The results of those conversations really kind of fell out more like, well, this is a city park. We're going to provide it. The funding on this will be probably a multi-year opportunity for EDC to spend some of their monies, which are tax monies. So the citizens pay taxes, and this some of it stockpiles at EDC, and this is their opportunity to really give back to the community their own money in enhancing the community, as well as with that community enhancement, it helps them attract other businesses because they are, in fact, enhancements. It makes the community a nicer place to be and locate their business. So previous years, we've had budgets of $200,000 a year. All that money was not depleted this past year. Budget, if that goes another year, so there's $400,000 that could probably be put on there. So we can tentatively look at, this is over the course of the next couple of years, they can work their way down their list based upon input and direction from us. And so therefore, that's where the funding would come for this. It's well within their budget and part of their directive. So we don't really have a need to have to seek out corporate sponsorship of, you know, this part of the trail or this hole on the golf course, if you will, which is also a hassle because now you have to get into the part of maintenance with a whole bunch of people. So Public Works can maintain any and everything we have on here. Access for PD and fire actually is enhanced because now we have a little wider driveway and a bigger space for them to be able to get into. As far as safety, this will still be a no light park. So once it gets dark, it's hard to play pickleball in the dark. You want to play pickleball? We've got Old Town, it's got a lighted court, they can head down there. And so really kind of fits in with what is currently operational there. It's just an expansion of services.
And do we have a master plan of what we want to see in the park? Or is it just kind of these folks?
This is it. This is it that we paid
it,
a significant amount of money for this professional consultants to come in here. In fact, one of the reasons why council voted on that is because they weren't park consultants, and this was done. So this really is the master plan. In fact, if you look at it, it's titled Master Plan.
The listing here of everything.
Projects.
So, Mayor and Council, if I may, I do have an expectation that there will be something with a narrative that is a do-out before this is truly final. I think that I know that when I received this document with the sketch, I think that I had an anticipation that I would get a narrative with it, but there is inside their scope of work a narrative due.
So that we would anticipate having being brought to us and submitted to us, but really this is more an opportunity for us to give some direction to EDC so that they could perhaps proceed with at least getting bid on what do we feel is the most important. It's not a final say-so, it's not an elimination, but an opportunity to submit some comments. So maybe we should go there. Is there anybody that might take exception or have a different opinion than parking being the first priority?
I mean, I'm on the EDC board as well as a director, and I think everybody unanimously agrees, like you said, Mr. Mayor, that parking is a priority. If you'll look at the initial design plan, they've added additional parking, 18 spaces directly off of 1560. The EDC board discussed that that would be a long-term, as that 1560 is being ripped up, but we could focus on the other more initially. Our city staff did express concerns, and Mr. Hayes, maybe you can chime in with easements and saws. So if we're paving over and that needs to be maintained or dug up, that affects the city.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for that. So from the lift station, there's at least 3 different directions that come off of that with easements. One does go across the 62 spaces. One goes off from the lift station, kind of catty-corner to the right as you're looking at the image from the top side, and then one goes from the corner going towards those 18 parking spaces. So in the event that we put in any amenities and improvements, we just have to have that understanding that if there's something that goes on, they have to have access, and that could mean that repairs are due in those sections.
Okay.
Also, to answer Mr. Russell or Councilmember Russell's question, one of the reasons why EDC brought this to council to have consultants do a master plan is in order to seek grants. A lot of the grant applications require a master plan. So this was kind of a building block investment, and it's why I voted yes for it. The part of the scope of the work for the consulting firm was to survey the public, but I believe it was one of our EDC directors said until we see the numbers, I think it was Director Lutz, we haven't seen how many people responded, right? So they're basing this on a survey, but we don't know if 20 people responded or 200 people responded, or so it's really, until we get more information in that narrative, I think we need more information.
Like, you know, like I said, a narrative, you know, describing the scope. Or I mean, I read through the contract and everything we have with the company, but it's still wishy-washy legal, you know, but a plain Jane narrative of what exactly is going to be done. I think just a little cleaning up still.
And especially the community input portion, it would be nice to have a summary of the survey responses, and especially the number of people who responded.
I'm absolutely very much looking forward to find out if that response was, 2,000 or whether it was
I'll
24.
I'd be shocked if it was 2,000.
Oh, I'll be shocked if it's more than 24. But my concern with that, though, is that, again, we have a responsibility, and this is what I want to put back on council members. Ultimately, it's our park. Ultimately, it's our decision what goes there. We're very thankful for the EDC and their diligence in putting this together. Having a master plan lets them go out and get grants or at least apply. And so that may help their process. We're very much looking for their involvement and their investment in this. What we're trying to do at this point is with the preliminary report, we know for a fact that parking, there's not enough parking up there, and it will have to be done in 2 phases. But do we feel comfortable with letting EDC proceed with our first priority being parking, or do we want to do something in a completely different order?
So this is my first time to comment on this. So I was part of the team that was on this initially with Councilmember Sons, being, council reps on this process when it stood up at the EDC. As far as going forward, I wholeheartedly agree with discussions here and also at the last EDC meeting, that parking is number one. My only thing is, and I think I heard Jen say that EDC believed that the two parking locations should not be treated as the same priority, and I would wholeheartedly agree with that. And to be quite honest with you, 62 spaces, 62 cars, probably 2 to 3 people in a car. I don't know if I've ever seen that many people in the park.
Right.
So I think 62 might be the right number, or I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the 62.
Yeah.
That's a lot of spaces. So anyway, that's my only comment. I definitely would give direction. Parking's number one. And if they can expand the primary parking that we have, or the only parking we have today, to 62, that's probably the right first step.
Okay. Any disagreement with that? I guess it's an easier way to do that. Okay. Next, and briefly, the trails are in need of some attention. I think that is universally accepted, and with the material they're looking to put down there to be able to solidify that and help prevent wash away from rains and flooding.
And I think the other thing with the trails, since you bring it up, one of the rationales was ADA compliance. So people that are, handicapped, that are in wheelchairs, have an opportunity to use the trails, right? The paved trails around the park.
So two things would happen with that: parking and also the trails would actually answer the ADA component on both aspects, which is one of the reasons why I think that trails should be reasonably accepted as a second priority.
Agree.
Are we in agreement with that? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to point out that it does indicate concrete, and that is the material of desire from the standpoint of our professional staff. If we're just doing asphalt, that shifts and moves a lot easier and requires a lot more repairs.
Especially since that's mostly in a floodplain.
Yeah.
So if you've ever used Leon Creek trails and stuff, they're underwater quite a bit. And every little rainstorm we get, most of that area of the park is always underwater for at least a day.
All right. I'd like to open up conversation on the playground. Particularly, we just added $25,000 worth of equipment to the young child playground here behind City Hall. They have identified an area to place this 2 to 5 year old playground, but we do have the commentary from the people that actually have children of that age of wanting to be separate. Again, my comment is that maybe we don't, or give direction that we're not, it would be my suggestion that we give direction to not proceed with 2 and 5 playground in this spot. Possibly open that area for future consideration and other projects as identified, but want to open up to find out your thoughts. We'll start with you, Clark.
I concur. Yeah, I agree.
I agree, just leave it as open play space for now.
Okay. Jen?
Well, I think we're on council to make the very best decision for the city, and definitely we want to have a pulse on what's going on. But Mr. Mayor, you discovered, like I do when you go door to door, that it would be great if everybody agreed on priorities.
Sure.
So I think we as a council can try our hardest to listen to citizen input, but I think we also have to just look at what we have as a community. One of my favorite parks to take my kids to when they were little was Landa, in Monte Vista area. We lived in that area when we first moved to San Antonio, and they have a big kid playground and then a little kid playground with a fence. And it's been that way for over 20 years, and it works. But having said that, we have to look at limited resources, limited space, and when we have a toddler playground that we've invested in, close, I know Director Felty said to me once in a conversation when we were having the committee meetings, people with a 3-year-old and an older child, they're not going to be at 2 different parks. I understand that, but again, we have to look at everything we have and make the very best decision that makes sense financially and feasibly for our city. We also don't have a lot of space here. Landa Park has a lot more space. So I do agree. I'm probably beating this too much, but I think it's important to just bring up the whole conversation while we're here and not
Yeah.
glaze
Piecemeal
over
it,
it.
right. And the other thing is too, we could take a look and say, put that playground as fifth priority, such that that gives us more time to further digest the actual hard copy, final report, how many surveys were actually done, and have what would look to be a couple years to be able to perhaps put some more citizen input if we wanted to, but at minimum, I think that the shade and the multi-use pavilion, putting them as a higher priority would, that way it doesn't necessarily eliminate it, but reprioritize that to 5 as opposed to 3.
I like that idea.
Okay.
I could support that, moving it to 5.
Okay. Looking at the shade, which is actually kind of a small amount, and I really anticipate that probably being kicked in with one of the other items, because it's only 20,000. Any concerns with items 4 and 5, moving up to 3 and 4? No. Okay. I think we have enough for a conversation. Unless anybody has any other inputs, we will give direction to EDC that our order of priority would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, with verbal support. Looking forward to them and what they put together, and hopefully they'll proceed with appropriate bids. No action on that, so at this time, we are going to adjourn into executive session. We want to thank all of our athletes from SASO, and thank you for coming out and enduring this and getting your credit. I hope you found something interesting. Thank you for your time. We are going to adjourn back to closed session in accordance with Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultations with city attorney, and Section 551.074, personnel matters.
Yeah.
No decisions will be made. We will return. The time right now is 7:47.
All right, that'll be fun.
All right.
We're good.
Mics are on, okay. We are calling back to order here. It is 8:19. No decisions were made. And there is, at this point, I'm going to pull item number 12 because there is no action needed from anything that was discussed in closed session at this time. So with the pulling of item number 12, we are ready to adjourn. The time is 8:19. We are adjourned. Thank you.